I'm Tim Hooper.
And I'm Mike Gandolfo.
And this is The Trust Factor,
where high touch
plus high tech
multiplied by high trust
equals the real estate professional's formula for success.
Tim, I think this is our 25th episode. By the way, I just want to say congratulations to us. Please share this.
Quarter of a century.
I think we need to start getting some reviews. We haven't even asked for all that stuff. So, we probably need some reviews. Give us reviews, whatever. Let us know what you want. But I don't know if it's every 5-10 episodes, so I got to kind of geek out. I think I hear that music, and it's like the music I imagine in the back of my head of someone who's going on a journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can almost picture the old back in this they flash back to the 1200s and the guy's riding the horse or whatever else. That's hairs blowing in the wind. So I don't know. I think that's where I go with the music.
I kind of see going up a mountain. I like the horse hair blowing in the wind, but up a mountain to find
climbing a mountain to and then
it's done.
Yeah.
And it's there it is. He found it. So hopefully we're
treasure
finding
hunt,
trust.
Whatever. I love it.
Hopefully trust is the treasure. Trust the multiplier. It is the multiplier, and we do have a multiplier. And the speed of trust. I mean, Franklin Covey's old book, right? The speed of trust, and just how much speeds up when trust is there, how much slows down when trust isn't there. Talk about working with professionals right now in the real estate space personally, Mike, and just interesting to me how when something's done and then something shifts and changes and there's not an explanation, or you ask to loop somebody in and they're looped in some different thread. It's why didn't you loop them in that thread? It's just those little things, systemic things that break trust down. And I'm this whole show is about trust. Last episode, we talked about high touch, where it comes to that human element of assistant and delegation and hiring, and what to look for in yourself first before you go out and look for what the assistant looks like. But this episode is all about the tech side of it, because if we're not leveraging tech, then we're not able to give that treasure of trust as often as we could. So, Mike, what are we naming this? I think we're naming this one something special because you systematized an.
We were talking about systems, and we were talking about how being unclear and all that stuff, and then I'm sitting here thinking about writing a good just job description and all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, the way we're describing how this role for someone else, it's almost it's actually not almost, it is the exact same thing of how you write a very good prompt.
Yep.
In your AI, large language models whichever one you use. And so I just really enjoyed that analogy, because really when you think about it, if you have a good system, you start with the output. No one's hey, I need a system. It's no, I need a system to generate leads. I need a system to handle my money. And this is the output that I want, right? And to know that, if I'm, I have a system to generate leads. I work by referral. I follow a system to generate referrals. So I need to track the key KPIs that kind of get me there. So I need to track the number of referrals I get. I also need to track the number of referrals I give, because it's pretty common for us to see for every 3 referrals you give, you receive 1. Go givers win. I need to track all the activities I'm doing. I need to know which activities do I think that lead to the referral, which then lead to the closed transaction. So all these things kind of come up in the system. I'm thinking about the way we prompt our AI large language models is this. I want this output, following these steps or using this methodology, and just really kind of diving into it from that standpoint. I think it's brilliant, but it's also, for me, as I'm going through this whole process, and so we lost our marketing person. She got a much better job. I'm very excited for her. It was very, very felt warm and fuzzy when she left. Like it was, so the relationship is strong. My other person is going on maternity leave. And then I'm left with this one staff person because I fired my wife. If you guys don't know this, I didn't really. I took her off salary and put her on commission, which is amazing. And she's been reinvigorated in the business because of it. So it's really me and this other staff person. Now, this other staff person, who's been with me the longest. And so we're literally going to go through this whole time frame of the maternity leave, because I don't really want to onboard anyone in chaos. Although a lot of people say it's the best time to onboard somebody, but we're using it to say, hey, we've done a lot of these other roles before. Where can we be more efficient with using technology that we couldn't have done this before?
Yep.
So that when we come out on the other side, we'll have extreme amount of clarity of when we bring someone into the system. So we're using the stress to define the system.
Yep.
And when the system's going to be clearly defined, then we can bring the person in to accelerate the system. That's how we're going to scale. Versus bringing the person in chaos, not having the system clearly defined, and everyone is kind of floundering. And Tim, I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but if I did, it's still worthwhile. The Budweiser Clydesdales. When those two horses are hitched together the right way, two of them can like 10x their pulling capacity.
Yep.
When they're not hitched together the right way, they can't even pull as much as one of them. And this is the exact kind of thing that I think we're kind of diving into. It's like, well, how do we use the technology that's available to hire to develop the systems, to do whatever else, so then we can bring in the person to hitch together with the system being what hitches us all together, and we can propel us forward in a faster direction. And I'm difficult, man, because I'm, me. I got Requity going on. I got RE Solutions going on. I'm trying to do more speaking and training and all this other stuff. Oh, I just said the word I'm not supposed to say. Everyone's got a word that I do or do not. There is no try. So there. I love it. Yeah,
Master Yoda.
Yeah, I have a word that I'm not saying versus having a word that I am saying. Just like Tim is using the word with instead of use. Work with. So yeah, as I kind of go through that whole diatribe and that little monologue there, what kind of struck you, Tim?
Man, a lot struck me. I think you mentioned stress. You mentioned chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Being maybe one of the best times to bring somebody in. I think you would bring an expert in at that time who can bring calm to the chaos. But it sounds like you're stress proofing. When you said stress, it almost felt like you're stress proofing a system. A quick for instance, right? How many of you right now, just in the last 3 days, think about this. In the last 3 days, went to log into some system that you've not been logged into. I mean, you're doing your taxes maybe. You went to log in somewhere to download something to get a tax, and you took 15, 20 minutes to try to figure out your login. It auto-populated the wrong email address, the wrong account. You go down this rabbit hole of a password, changing the password, and then that doesn't work, and then you don't get the code to okay. That is one silly example that leads me and my family to have this mantra around our house. There will be no passwords in heaven. Like that's like okay.
It's all facial recognition.
In your business.
Soul
I love
recognition.
that you just said facial recognition. Exactly. Soul recognition. In your business, that's the friction between kaleidoscopes. You probably don't have a bad person working for you. You probably have a bad system that you plug them up to. I see so many sales managers, for instance. Oh, our people aren't putting their activity in this CRM. Okay. I will always be the devil's advocate for the salesperson because I was a salesperson, and you're making them literally go click 10 times to put it in your system. Your system sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's bring this down. You already know that the system of this whole password thing and this vendor or whoever you're trying to log into, you're like, that sucks. That experience sucks. And you know that the pain of big corporate systems, system sucks. Well, number one, you might not even have a system, number one. But number two, your system might suck.
It probably does.
Are you delivering the gold standard every time? Like, have you determined what gold standard you want every time? Mike, before the show, I was talking about my buddy Matt, and I was like, if you're working with a company, if you're working with an admin who isn't even talking AI right now, AI is the new computer. So you as a leader need to first and foremost understand AI enough to build systems that then your admin or your fractional people that you outsource to, your CTOs, whatever, can plug into and run. If you're building something in Manus or Gemini or Perplexity that you're gonna like sit there and constantly build on, and then you're becoming an IT person. You need to define outcomes, define
Are you calling
standards.
me out right there? You just called me out. You just called me out. It's okay. Go ahead. Did Chrissy pay you to say that, by the way? I just want to know.
We all have creativity inside of us. And so when we have a magic wand like AI, it's naturally going to stoke or give us that dopamine hit of creation. Amazing. But the problem I'm seeing right now is we are becoming infinite creators instead of like designing a system that we go execute on long enough to see where it's where does it break down, stress test it, and then have somebody on our team understand AI enough to fix that. So where we're going here is AI augmenting your admin.
Mm-hmm.
Or your admin being augmented, I should say, by AI, because it's all about high touch plus high tech multiplied by high trust.
Let me rephrase that just a little bit.
Yep.
If we talk about the Pareto principle of how much you can 80-20, right? The whole premise, a lot behind that 10x is easier than 2x book is like, can you 80-20 to the nth degree? Can you keep on applying the 80-20 principle? How often can you apply? You're basically using AI to help your staff 80-20. So how do you get the 80% off their plate so that they can do the 20% work that gets the 80% result?
I love you leaders. Hear what Mike just said. You're leveraging AI to get your team to 80-20. Wow. You're going to get your admin to 80-20.
Because what's that going to do for you?
Yes.
So then, so what you said, like I took that previous episodes we did on defining the work, the job descriptions for your AI products, like filling job descriptions. I built out this manual. Okay, this is again Tim talking to me about me being an IT person. I've built out this manual.
You guys need this manual.
It's going to be available to you guys. We'll post it on the Trust Factor website, which is trustthemultiplier.com, which is where that QR code in the top left hand of the screen goes to, by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube or Spotify. Soon to be Apple. Supposedly Apple's bringing video into the podcast world. But the manual, we ran it through, and at minimum, by implementing these workflows, it's going to save 25 hours a week and could be 40 plus, depending on how well you get these workflows in place, and really kind of look at the system, adjust it, and whatever else. So the manual will be there for you all to use and ask questions. But I'm starting with that, and then I'm starting with some of the stuff I'm taking this weekend that I'm on to build out for Manus, to kind of fill some gaps, and I'm going to hire the person that can then drive those systems. Wow. And then I won't be the IT person anymore, Tim. Except I love to create stuff, and I'm gonna be creating stuff all the time. My big thing is gonna be like I can't implement everything I create. Yeah, correct. That's gonna be the hard part. So
and that's again going to the output. Like what do your outputs need to be? What are you gifted and designed for? What are you called for? So what are the outputs of your life? What are the outputs of the system? And then what does the system need to be simple enough, but stress tested to have a consistent output, and then have you trained your staff on that system. So the thing is, you have to hook the horse, not calling your staff a horse, but you have to hook the horse up to the harness. The harness is your system. Okay. If you're the horse in the harness, even if you feel so powerful because of AI, oh, I have this AI system. Well, did you learn how to build the system enough and then delegate the system, hooking it up to a horse to go plow the field? If not, you're becoming an operator, just a highly functional operator because you're plugged into AI. So a couple of things here that emerge. Again, if your fractional CTO or your CTO is not talking AI, or your admin, I know some marketing managers right now for brokerages, when I come in and talk about AI, or I share like, hey, Manus can build a flyer. And I know, Mike, you love when I regulate
I'm
Manus
building
down
that,
to
so
a
it will.
flyer.
Yeah.
Correct. But when I say, oh, it's like the new Canva, then my brother Andrew and Mike, they fly off and they say, oh, it's not the new Canva. I'm like, I get it, but nobody's even playing around with Manus yet. So just go look at that before you go to Canva next time, and then see all the other wonders it can do, because it is agentic to the nth degree. However, I have marketing managers come up to me and say, like, can you not talk about Manus? Like, I don't want to be replaced. And then I listen, and I'm like, I feel for you. But I'm like, can I ask you a question? Do you think all of these agents in here actually need a flyer? Or would executing on the flyer, like communicating the flyer, how to email that flyer, how to ensure it actually arrived to their database flyer, like the outputs of the flyer. Stop getting so hung up on the flyer. Marketing managers, marketing people, graphic design is in your skill set. You had to take that course. I took the course. I know how to build crappy design. Okay. Crap. Okay. If you want to learn go learn CRAP acronym. It's the best graphic design. I can tell you, when I see a design, I'm like, it's a horrible design based on misfits, drilling crap into my brain, because I took mass communication. Graphic design was part of it. But I geek out with graphic design. But graphic design does not make me money. Graphic design is not making you money. Helping your people execute on that graphic design, that's where you make the money. So where my head is going with this is technology as a business owner. Mike, you said it, and we didn't even plan to say it, allows your marketing director to become 80-20 to 10x. Because 10x is not some Grant Cardone sign up online. But so the real estate world, 10x, you must be a Grant Cardone guy. I'm not actually.
Benjamin
10x.
Hardy, actually.
What's that?
I said we're more Benjamin Hardy guys than we are.
Yeah, and I love Grant. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just the 10x is such a frivolous term thrown around. Oh, I'm going to 10x, and all it means is you're going to try harder. You're going to 10x is literally giving up things that are not generating the highest outputs for you. And your marketing folks, even your admin, what did you hire? What did you hire there? I talk to receptionists all the time. I go into offices. I'm here to see, CEO, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there. What are you working on? I just ask them, what are you working on? Oh, I got to put all these. And she like holds up this little stack of spreadsheets, Mike. I got to put all these hours, for the company in our spreadsheet here. And she's like, look, I'm like a consultant, so I don't really care whether you smile at me or not. I'm in there I'm a consultant walking in. I could have been your customer. And this person is like totally riddled, like shackled to a computer, like stressed out, run around. I'm like, you hired this person to answer the phone with a tone of voice, to host, to welcome, to whatever. And you're literally just dumping all of the here, can you put these in the system? Can you do it? You can help her be 10x or him be 10x. So that's where I believe that the technology side to building an admin and delegating has to be you as an owner deciding, what can we delegate What can you delegate? Number one was last episode, but what can your admin delegate to technology? And how can you as an owner build that system in technology and then train the admin on the technology? So many people, oh, we're going to replace people with, actually, I think you're going to augment people, and you're going to allow those people to have more space for creativity, for humanity, for empathy. Empathy is, there's a book out there, Mike, you might know the name, and it escapes me at the moment. The empathy economy, or the emotion,
yeah.
the feeling economy.
Yeah.
The feeling economy. Go check it out. Obviously, I haven't checked it out, but I've heard a lot about it. I've not read it, full disclosure. But it's the feeling economy, and I really do believe this, because it's AI and technology will give your admin space back to actually think about the work and the system and make sure the system's doing that gold standard of output consistently.
I love it, man. I just think ultimately too, just if I want to pull in something that I, to kind of give an example, a concrete example of what we're doing, not just to kind of tie it back to the tech side a little bit. I've, this is something that I built out on Perplexity, and the way that this will, and I'm implementing this into Manus right now so that it'll be an app for my agents to have, because this is exactly, I think, what you were just kind of getting at, where number one, we need to know what metrics we really need to track, and we don't need to track everything.
Yep.
Okay. I know for my agents, they all have a referral number. And if they're focused on getting that referral number for the month, then I know that their business is going to be fine. Right? They're running their business inside my business. It's up to them to track all the other KPIs that come before that. I'm focused on them getting that referral number. And so we got this little way for them to refer, but the bottom side of this, which you can't really see, so I apologize, is well, here we go, is, they can literally walk someone through the transaction, but when they're doing this and they're like, hey, there's a contract, it's going to prompt them to fill out simple little things so that they're not doing the paperwork, and the staff member that I have is getting exactly what they need to fill the paperwork out as efficiently. It's probably even going to get to the point where it's filling out the paperwork for them. It's just our contracts change so freaking, frequently that I just don't know if I want to do that. But the prompts that I have set up for basically as we walk someone through a transaction, so then it makes it easier on my staff to then process files and get things done. Then we can sell it to our agents that they get paid faster.
Crazy.
All of that stuff that happens just by simplifying the process or simplifying the system. This does not show up very well on this screen, so I thought it would look better, but that's okay. But I think that's really what it kind of comes down to, is like, how are you taking the tech tools and getting obstacles out of the way for your staff? So because your staff, you might pay someone $25, $30 an hour, $20 an hour, but your staff has got work in that $20 an hour that you're paying them. They've got things that are really minimum wage, and they got things that are really $40 an hour work. So imagine, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but imagine if you're paying someone $25 an hour, but they're doing more $40 an hour work than they're doing $15 an hour work. What does that do for you? And what does it do for your organization? So
that's huge.
Yeah.
What you just said right there is your admin, your assistant is doing work. You're paying $25 an hour. Where if you had an AI system that you subscribe to the Pro for $20 a month and had a system built, then the work they're doing, what they're doing, again, not you doing it, because you're not going to perform you are not going to perform, you're not going to be delivering your talent, the treasure, enough where you can be if you're backing your system. So I'm going to replace my admin with AI. No. Teach your admin AI. Build a system alongside of them. Build the harness and the kaleidoscales so that it's efficient so you don't have to touch it, but build the system so that they can do the work effectively using a free system.
And here's the effect on the bottom line. I said that the AI workflow that we're sharing that manual with could save you will save you 40 hours a month. If you're paying someone $25 an hour, that's $1,000 right there. And my entire tech stack of Manus, Perplexity Pro, Gemini Pro with Notebook LM Pro is not $1,000 for the year.
Wow.
That's a 10x right there.
Wow.
So it's actually more than a 10x. And I think that's where, and now that person's bringing higher dollar value to the return on investment when you understand this is really, it's probably 20x.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say earlier, Elon, and I know we're getting up on time here, but didn't you say earlier Elon Musk?
I did not on the, we were doing it in between the conversation.
Yeah. But you said like he's gonna have a phone or coming out with like the new phone. He wants to get in the Tesla phone, and it's gonna be a free phone, and it's gonna be free service. Like, okay, if that's true, it's because there's an AI powering it. There's probably no humans powering it. It's not the human resource capital, but the phone is going to put you into an ecosystem somehow because he's a billionaire. So he's thinking about, if you think about it, like we said this earlier, like what were timeshares? Timeshares were to get you into the vacation portfolio. It was to get you into that environment so that, at some point they're making money. We don't talk about it, but you're going to have a free phone because technology is going to be there to build the piece of technology. So there's a low maintenance cost on that, but the phone comes in. Why? It's going to get you into some environment where you're going to be paying for. You're going to be the technology is going to be different. So what is he trying to get you into? The ecosystem of Tesla, most likely. So then the car is going to come along with all of these benefits, where it's no longer a $35,000 car in your mind. It's a lifestyle because of all the free perks and benefits, like a timeshare. Does that make?
Well, I mean, and honestly, I don't know if it's as much Tesla's as Starlink, but that's really what it kind of comes down to. Like, it comes down to. The phone might not be for free, but Starlink's going to be for free. So your internet at home's for free, going to be free. The internet's going to be in your car for free. The internet's going to be on your phone for free, and all this stuff that is very much in the works. We had a tragic situation in Lexington where a drunk driver drove through a crowd of people, and I turned to my mother-in-law, who's sounds like about the same age as your mother-in-law, and it's like, oh, that's not going to be a thing in 4 or 5 years. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, we're gonna have self-driving cars that will completely eliminate drunk driving, and the technology is so far advanced, and that car is such a much safer driver than you will ever be, that the amount of injury and death and property damage that it will save will almost make it where it's going to have to be mandated overnight. Like, it's going to be illegal at some point for you to drive your own gas powered car.
I'm laughing somewhat in disbelief, but somewhat in recognition, and somewhat somewhere in the middle. And I think everybody on this call, you see it coming, you feel it. Obviously, there's a lot of regulation and guardrails and safeguards, but what Mike just said is absolutely right. They're proving case studies that these self-driving cars are safer. That's just one example. The cell phone as you know it will radically change in the next 5 years. And because that's like our third hand, it's going to feel to a lot of people like they lost a member of their body. I just mean that because we have it in our hand all the time. So,
but to go back to the whole workflow side, like this is why, like, you kind of stair-stepping your workflow into it is so important, because otherwise eventually there's going to be this dramatic shift and you're just not going to understand how to adapt at all. And you have got to kind of just implement technology upgrade the responsibility of your staff. You know, the more, and I don't think I said this, but I did say it because Eric Blackwell, I mentioned last show. I want to go back to this. The successful people will be the curious, the ones that are trying to push the edge.
Yep.
And you have roles and responsibilities inside your organization where every single role, one of those roles can be, there's an edge to push. Who's curious about trying to go to the next level and go to the next thing and push you into the next, right? Like I'm thinking of the pizza dough, and I'm trying to stretch the pizza dough to fit the pan, but I've got these 2 hands. Can you imagine if I had like 8 hands pushing the pizza dough and stretching?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Pizza would be changed forever.
So, I mean, but we're going to be able to be a whole lot more efficient and better. And you just got to keep on having someone pushing that edge and stretching that edge and taking your business to that next level, because otherwise we're going to be trying to do a little bit over here and a little bit over there. And when we push over here, it shrinks over there. And this is why the pizza dough analogy is so good. If you've ever stretched pizza dough, like you're stretching one edge and then you go back to the other edge and it's shrink back. So like, this is really the key, is to make sure that you've got these processes and you've got these people who are empowered to push the edge.
I love that you talk about people empowered to push the edge. I think a lot of conversations around AI are happening in silos. And as leaders, it is not going to bode well down the road for you when it comes to your human resource, because right now they're already distrusting you. You're putting a system in place. They don't even know why the system's there. They don't want to use the system. You've not had any conversation with them about the system. You're trying to put the AI, and you know what your people feel? Threatened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use the AI system. That's going to replace me. So trust is the multiplier. So as you're thinking through your admin and delegation, and as you're thinking through your tech stack and your AI, you need to figure out now how to marry the two up to empower, like Mike just said, your frontline. Guys, prompting, and Mike, you have the acronym PROMPT.
I do.
Like, prompting does not take a rocket scientist to understand how to prompt. It actually creates better communicators across all areas of life if you learn how to prompt. When you learn how to prompt technology, you realize I just learned how to communicate with a computer where I had to go to IT and ask for like JSON language before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, prompting is powerful. So to empower your team, teach them how to prompt, you'll be surprised what they can do, what they can offset. You will augment your human capital, your human resource. The reason you want to, they need to be able to do what only they can do and delegate the rest. So the two need to marry up. And if you want to be a trusted leader, extend trust and share the intent, share the outcome, share the system, invite them into the system, empower them along with the system. They should not be at odds with one another.
I also think that you just mentioned the JSON thing. By the way, if you have a marketing person who doesn't understand how to manipulate JSON, JSON, then you are literally missing out on some very powerful and simple ways to edit images. So yeah, but again, I don't necessarily need to hire the person up front who understands JSON. I need the person who's curious enough to figure it out. Yeah. Right. So the prompt acronym that you just mentioned, and we'll kind of wrap it up with this. The first P is for purpose. Can you define the core outcome for this role in one sentence? Remember, to be unclear is to be unkind. So one sentence, this is the purpose of this role. The R is for results. What are the 3 to 5 measurable results that this person owns? The O is for operating context. What's the environment, the tools, the pace, the team structure, the in-person expectations? What are your styles so they understand what are and kind of like the standards that you just mentioned, Tim? That's the operating context. What is the M is for methodology. Spell out exactly how they'll get work done, the core responsibilities, the workflows, the cadences, when are the one-to-one check-ins, all those kind of things, the reporting rhythms, whatever it might be. P is for profile. capture traits and skills. So as I was going through on the last episode and I was talking, I put it in Perplexity. It's like, this is the person that I need, the behavioral style, the experience, the comfort with technology, the culture fit. What are the non-negotiables and red flags of this person? And then finally is the T. Can you actually do a real world audition? I highly recommend that T is for test or trial. You always want to hire someone with a trial period. And I was told that there's like a magic number where people can fool you for like 60 days, but they can't for 90. And actually, I think the number is like you want to go to 100 or 120 days of a trial period.
Yeah.
Because their true self will come out in that 120 days for you to know that you need to go ahead and cut ties with this person and bring on the next one.
The other thing too is if you are a solopreneur right now, to go hire just an hourly, unless you're just doing a virtual assistant that you just need to dump hourly work to. If you're looking to bring on a team member, bringing somebody on as a 1099, like, hey, I want, like, you're going to be my consultant. You're going to be, yes, administrator of my business, but I want you to come into this role more as a consultant. I want you to poke and prod. I want you to, like, you own this thing with me. Like, I want you to think ownership mentality. You come in as a consultant. I'm going to pay you. We're going to do a 90-day run. No commit. Don't commit to this person. And then after that, we'll go to think full time. No, just I can. If somebody's looking at you like, man, Mike, I would love to work with you, and you're a solopreneur right now, you think, man, that person seems curious. They seem like they could make it be a good fit. Remember, it's the who before the what. I would say, hey, come on, do 90-day. Come be a consultant with me for 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Let that person just get and be patient. Like, if you're trying to make them drink out of a fire hose for the first day or two, because I could give them all this stuff, you're an impatient leader. Bring them on for 90 days, commit to them for 90 days, but see how much they commit to you. Because if they're not locked into a salary or an hourly or just billable, they have to then you sit down on day 1 and day 2, say, okay, in the 90 days, here are the things that I need solved.
Mm-hmm.
And then see how they start creating and start solving and start asking and I believe that's the best way. And then if you love them as a consultant for 90 days and you're like, dude, I can't live without this person, then you go figure out, of course, they'll probably figure it out and just stay a consultant because they'll make more money. But then you bring them on full time. But there's a lot of different ways do we even say skin the cat anymore? It's so terrible.
Sure.
There's a lot of ways to
make
the sausage or make the pizza dough, but actually there's only one way to make the pizza dough, and that's Mike's way in his kitchen. So
there's several different ways to make pizza dough. And
I want to eat some of your pizza one day. My wife, we're going to come visit you. She makes great pizza, but maybe you two can go at it and we'll have a pizza party.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. Like I said, we're going on this journey with you guys. Please send us all the contact information for me and Tim's in the show notes. We'd love for you all to share the show, review the show, help us grow the show, and let us know what you are dealing with and how we can help you. And we'll see you next time on The Trust Factor. The Trust Factor podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. You can even watch us on YouTube.
And subscribe to the channel so you can comment and drop your questions and share it with your team.